Uh, we're here with Mr. Dent Myers. So what are your general thoughts on the idea of gun control in America?
It's according to what the definition of gun control is. You're talking about confiscation and burning guns and taking them away from the public and giving them to the government to destroy. I'm not for that. But control, if it's like holding one on your target and hitting what you aim at, I'm for that. But the other aspect of it is completely and totally it's against the Constitution, but they don't pay attention to the Constitution anymore. Second Amendment don't mean anything because they can make an executive order against it. That's the reason I hope Obama lives 5 million years, because I'm afraid that when he gets to do the NES or the CIA or the underground boys or some clandestine governmental operation, we'll find he is no longer needed and get rid of him. That'll start a race war, and then they'll declare martial law, and that's the way they'll get rid of the guns. I hope it doesn't. I hope he lives 9 million years. We don't need a race war. We don't need an excuse for martial law either.
So Kennesaw, Georgia has a very unique law on the books. For people that aren't familiar with our infamous gun law.
It's not a law, actually. It's
an ordinance.
Ordinance, yeah. Yep, since '82 we've had that. It's that the head of every household has to own a weapon and adequate ammunition for their own public safety. It's just in rebuttal to Morgan Grove, Illinois. Morgan Grove, because they said nobody could have one. We didn't think anything about what kind of repercussions it would have. We were just doing it to tell them we stand for the Second Amendment here. Now that was another administration. The ones we've got now, I wouldn't.
And you certainly adhere to the Kennesaw ordinance. You have 2 pistols on you at the moment, I believe.
A couple of 45s.
Oh. Sorry if we get a look at them, just in the holster.
Well, I don't like to take them out except to clean them or use them. You don't want to do either one, do you?
Well, after I get insurance, we'll be good.
One of these you wouldn't be doing anything forevermore.
So how many guns do you own?
Now I'm going to get me one of these days. And some ammunition too, if I can think about it.
So what are your thoughts on concealed weapon carry laws?
Which one?
The concealed weapon carry laws. You think they're not broad enough?
They cover everything adequately. We've got enough laws on the books right now that cover all of it. The concealed weapon law don't mean anything except when you go down and get your permit, it's run through NCIC, CIA, GBI, and all these people to make sure you don't have a criminal background. They do that and you got a permit. I don't think you're going out here and do anything unusual. The people that does unusual things are the ones that don't have a permit and they won't get a permit, and their weapons are not legal to start with. I mean, it's stupid. It's some more governmental agitation, just another step toward compensation.
So what do you think about the idea of putting armed officers in America's schools?
I don't think it should be necessary. I think that's another effrontery, because that means that the kids are in a position that don't be able to protect themselves. They're going to rely on somebody else to protect them, and when something happens, when they're not there, or the officer's not there, or they're at home or somewhere else, they won't think about protecting themselves. They look for an officer, which is not going to be there. It's just a dumb idea. Like armored backpacks. What a stupid idea that was. Legs, head, backpack, armored backpack. Turn around, Johnny, I want to shoot you in your backpack. You're looking at me face on, turn around, I want to shoot you in your backpack.
So do you think college students should be allowed to carry guns in classes?
Not all of them. I think that they should have the right to carry them. I have to go through this background check and all, but never can tell. One guy steps out with somebody else's girlfriend, even with a permit, that wouldn't keep him from blowing them away.
So what are your general opinions on the National Rifle Association?
NRA used to be good. I don't belong to it anymore, because all they were doing the last time I got it was applying for money, asking for money, and having meetings, and all these people dressed up suits and all. And I couldn't see what that had to do with anything, so I don't belong to them anymore. I told them, I said, the reason that I'm not here, this money I'm paying you, I could be buying ammunition for it, because when the hammer comes down, I'll be here and you'll be up there, and those donations I made to you are going to do me a bit of good. But if I got something here that does, I think it'd be more beneficial.
So do you think Southerners love guns more than people in other parts of the country?
Well, we were reared with them. When I was growing up, we had one shotgun, and we couldn't really afford shells, but we had one or two that to keep the hawks out of the chickens. And we'd go out. My daddy would shoot a squirrel or a rabbit for food, but that's all. It's just another tool, like a hoe or a shovel. I think that anybody that don't want to have a weapon should not be forced to have one. I think if they want one, I don't think they should be constricted from doing it, as long as they are not in a mood to do something that would be detrimental to somebody else.
Are there any gun restriction policies that you would support? Background checks, things like that?
No. Background checks are the only thing you need to do. Because they give you a complete itinerary and a description and a biological profile of the person that's there. Because they've got all this stuff in NSA, they've had it for years.
So, in your opinion, how far does the Second Amendment go? Does it have any restrictions whatsoever?
It's all interpretation. It's going who's got it up there, whether they want guns or don't want guns. That's what it comes down to, interpretation.
Do you personally think there are any weapons Americans should not be allowed to own?
No. If you want a cannon, if you want a machine gun, it's as long as you pass that test, and you're not going to arbitrarily go out here. I mean, it's asinine. Anybody that wants to do this is going to have the weapons and the ammunition. Doesn't matter who you are. So they're restricting somebody else from doing it because they're illegal. But the other thing won't all of the legal aspects. He can do it and get it and all this. I could go down to Atlanta there and say, what's the waiting period for me to get a machine gun? He said till it gets the trunk open. Have one.
Oh, wow. So, what do you think is the best way to solve the nation's gun violence problem?
Get the government's nose out of it. Because they're the ones that's instigating most of this violence anyway. That's just my opinion too. They'll be here tomorrow.
And final question for you is, what do you think is the best way to prevent school shootings?
Prevent shooting?
School shootings in particular.
I'm not sure, because we never had them when I was going to school.
So why do you think we're having such a proliferation of them
It's
lately?
copycat stuff. They get them on TV, get on Facebook, get on twiddling and twaddling and all this stuff. See what somebody's done, and everybody gets a lot of publicity and all. This kid hadn't got nothing, got pimples and freckles and over fat and all, and sees other people get publicity, and he'll never be anything there, so he goes shoot somebody so he'll get publicity too. That's just another, my opinion. It's a copycat thing. And they've seen so much on TV, they don't realize those guns they're using there don't have live bullets in them. They figure that after the school thinks, whoever they shot, you get up and go home. Don't work that way. When I was going to school, nobody had a gun except at home for the shotgun. But we carried knives. I had a big old switchblade about that long that somebody gave me. Carried in my pocket all the time. I didn't say anything about it. So we didn't take it to have any violence or anything. But now you can't even carry nail clips. Oh, you shot come clip somebody's nails on purpose. That's dangerous.
So do you think there's a national plan for gun confiscation going on right now?
Oh yeah, has been for years.
And if that policy actually happens, what do you think will result in America?
They'll get them. They'll get them. Because they've got the Homeland Security now as the Army to do just that. That's what it's for. And we're paying for it. It's like, here's $500, come shoot me after a while. I hired my own assassin. And he got all these prison camps up and down the road here and all over the United States. In order to know how many it would hold, how many personnel it would take to man it, and it has a railroad going through it now. That is an unusual occurrence, how a railroad track through a prison camp. Why would they do that? Must be bringing food or something in there. The Gulugrians.